Well, what is this place? You know, can you tell me a little bit about Guadeloupe?
So Guadeloupe is a French colony.
Okay.
In the Caribbean, you have Guadeloupe, you have Martinique, you have Haiti and Saint Barts. Those are the French islands.
Okay.
You know, this island is where Thierry Henry, his dad, is from this island.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We're going to go and explore it then.
All right.
All right.
Cool,
Thank you, man.
Right,
Respect. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Good, good. You're from here, from Guadeloupe?
Yes, I'm from Guadeloupe.
Yeah. Before we start, can you tell me a little bit about Guadeloupe?
Okay, so Guadeloupe is called the water island. And how you could see Guadeloupe is the shape of a butterfly. So you have Grand Tail and you also have Bastille. So come and have a look. Let me show you. So this side of the island is more flat.
Okay.
And Bastille is more the national parks.
Okay.
Soufrière is the volcano called La Vieille Dame, or you could also call it La Soufrière. So each end, we right here in Pointe-à-Pitre, each end is about an hour and 30 minutes drive. An hour and 30 minutes drive, an hour and 30 minutes drive. So on the next side of the island is called Grand Tail. So on Grand Tail, you have Le Gosier. Le Gosier is the closest beach. So we are here in Pointe-à-Pitre. There is around 50 minutes drive. So you could continue to Saint-Anne. Saint-Anne Beach is the motoristical one, if the markets, the restaurants and bars. We could continue to Saint-Francois, where we have a view, Pointe des Châteaux, a view on all this part of the island. So that could be a nice trip. Now everything depends on what you really want to.
Okay. So downtown is just right here, walking distance.
You could go straight. Everything is walking distance. You could go straight. After the pharmacy, bend on your left. You turn left, and here you are.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
باركس حجب زناي سبايس ماركت قلبت احنا لنا سكنتين تاع عينتي يدلو بزي ماركت. Hello. Hello, how are you? What kind of spices are here? Berbere? Hello. Yeah, because the problem كلهم French undesirable. لازم in a little hard.
De 10 € seulement, venez chercher tout ça dans ce magasin ce matin, des jeans à partir de 10 €, soit les deux pour seulement 15 €. Voilà, C'est parti les bonnes affaires dans votre magasin Miss. On est gagné ce magasin, il faut absolument passer voir ce qui se passe dans ce magasin. Arrêtez-vous devant ce présentoir de jeans. Regardez les modèles.
To go for. Bonjour. What is your names? What are your names?
Dion Joy.
Diane, Joy, Michelle,
Kiros.
Chios,
Kiros.
Kiros. Okay, original.
Manuel.
Manuel. Okay. Okay. Un poquito.
Nosotros
Un
hablamos
poquito.
español.
Okay.
Y todo el mundo.
Tengo amigos de Colombia.
Ah, muy bien.
Sí.
¿Con Colombia?
Sí.
Ok.
I met them in Barbados.
¿Barbados?
Barbados.
ما رك عبيت غمزيت يقول لهم فون بيتر سو فورس جد زي توك جرنا حجنا حدا ساعات فرغان تور كاينينا سلازي كمي كندلو تغنطات قلب حساب كرينا
History too, actually, of the city. And you know, a lot of people think that the history of here started in 1493, because it's the time they say that Christopher Columbus discovered Guadeloupe. He discovered America in 92, Guadeloupe in 93. But you know, this genius was wrong. First of all, he thought that he arrived in India. That's why we are called the West Indies. Man, yeah. And second of all, there were already people living here. Yeah. They were called the Arawaks and the Kalinagos. Kalinago means strongman. Remember that. Sorry. And these people, they were actually from Venezuela. Yeah.
Oh, really?
You see, you on the boat.
Yes.
You can see that sometimes you're on one island and you can see the next island. That's basically how they came from Venezuela, and they went
Island
to all the Caribbean, island to island, from eyesight, you know. And they had a strong political administration. It used to be called Cacica. And they were even able to connect with the Mayans, the Incas, you know. So everything that we call America today was a system between those people. When the Spanish came here, they were mostly looking for gold. They didn't find gold on the island. They didn't really kept unattached to the island. But they named the island Guadalupe. Guadalupe is a black virgin, sorry, that is venerated in Spain. And this is why in every Spanish conquered country, you can find a spot called Guadalupe. I don't know for Colombia. You have Guadalupe in Colombia?
They do. They have the big rock. Oh, that's Guadalupe. Sorry.
Guadalupe? Guadalupe.
Guadalupe.
Okay. No Guadalupe.
La Virgen de Guadalupe,
Guadalupe.
en Bogotá.
Maybe.
Religious.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The French, they came. They say no Guadalupe. Guadeloupe.
We were wondering why too. Yeah.
Guadeloupe. So yes, when the French come here, they are. It's another story. They arrived in 1635, and they were already established in the island of Saint Kitts. Do you know the island of Saint Kitts?
Yes.
Yes. So they were established in Saint Kitts, Saint Christophe back in the days, and the island was divided between the French and the English. That's crazy, but yeah. They had a peace agreement to do all of that. You know. And when the French come here, because the island of Saint Christophe was full of people, the first island they come to is Guadeloupe. A trip from Saint Kitts to Guadeloupe could take up to 12 days. Imagine yourself how long a trip from France to Guadeloupe was. And yes, it was a long and difficult trip. You know why? For instance, they could only drink cider on the boat. But the barrels of cider was catching seawater. So they couldn't drink it anymore. They were dehydrated when they were coming here. They were hungry. They were sick from the trip. They were catching illnesses on the spot, you know. They didn't have anything planted to eat, you know. So therefore, the French, they go to a period of 8 months of hunger. And it's because of this eight months of hunger that trouble is going to come. Because to survive, they're going to steal from the gardens of the Arawaks and the Kalinagos. But remember, I told you Kalinago means strong man. They're going to start killing the French. But the French, they have guns and powder, so they ended up killing the majority of the first populations of the country. Bon après-midi. They ended up killing most of the people of the first communities of here. And after that, the French, they established themselves here. When they established themselves, it's very particular groups. 10% of noble people, but they're just noble by name, because back then it's only the firstborn child that gets the legacy from the father. If you're second-born, third-born, see you, bye-bye. You have 30% of what we call about traders and convicts. You have 60% of what we call the engaged people. The engaged people, they come to work here for 36 months. They are mostly coming from Normandy and from Britain in France. And they are the first one that are going to plant tobacco on the island. Before sugarcane is tobacco. So we're going to go a little history too. You have a bit of context because we're going to go back and forth in history. So you have a little pivot point that you can pivot around. Okay?
Perfect.
We good to go?
Thank you.
Back then, remember I told you, the French, they were planting tobacco on this side of the island. And they settled on this side because it's the mountain side. You can see that the clouds, they are blocked by the mountains. So it's going to rain. Since it's a volcano, they will have also rivers, so plenty of water. It's the perfect climate to plant tobacco. Everything is going good for the French up until 1756. In 1756 is the start of the War of 7 Years. And the War of... You have too much sun? I was telling you that the French, everything was going good up until 1756. The War of 7 Years is actually known to be the First World War. A lot of historians agree to say that. Because it's the first war that starts in Europe and that spreads to all the possessions everywhere. The war, you have the French facing the English as usual. You have the Prussians, so the ancestor of the Germans, fighting the Austrians. And this is why you have too much sun as well. This is why you can find in America, on the American side, you find a spot called the New France. New France is going from the north of Quebec to the south of Louisiana, going through the valley of Ohio. You also have New England. New England is still the small belt with New York and stuff like that. Imagine yourself that the French, they are 35,000 in New France. The English, they are 2 million in New England. And they need some room, you know. And they start to invade some spots of New France. And the French send a delegation to tell the English, hey, France, this is France. But in one of those meetings, there is a young guy who is American, meaning that he has left the monarchy, the taxes from the British, and is leading a group. And this guy is George Washington. George Washington, during one of the meetings, will end up killing the representative of the French delegation. And it's one of many events that will put oil on the fire and make the war blow, you know. And the war is supposed to last 7 years. The French, they're going to lose it just in about 3 years. Hey! This is why they have to give a lot of property, a lot of land to the British. And the British arrive to Pointe-à-Pitre, which is not Pointe-à-Pitre at this time, but they arrive right here. You see the small island here? The island is called the Pig Islet. The museum here is called the Memorial Act. We will talk about it later. But between both, it's the only way in and way out of this area. On this side, you have a lot of rocks, you cannot cross here. And the English say this is the perfect spot. One entry, one exit, we're going to put guns on both sides. And if someone feels like coming, try, my friend. You also see that the water is very calm. So this is why the English are going to shoot this spot, because they have something, big army, which is called the British Royal Navy. Plenty of space to park their boats is a good deal. And you will also see that because of the water, the calm water, people are going to stop here. If people stop here, it's money. Yeah, and this is how it's going. Yes, there is a church. The church is located on a hill, and Pointe-à-Pitre used to be hills. Today it's flat. And the English, I will tell you one thing, they were quite good at the black slave trade. So they're going to bring 30,000 enslaved people from Africa here. And the mission of those people will be breaking the hills to make the city flat, to put in the mangroves and to make the city flat. This is the birth of the city of Pointe-à-Pitre. Yeah. Well, the city is founded between 1759 and 1763, but 1763 is the end of the War of 7 Years. And what's going to happen? We have a guy, which is the Duke, the Marquis of Choiseul, who is going to negotiate peace with the English. And it will be like, okay, fine, we lost the war, okay, wasn't fun for us, fun for you, okay, but we have business to do, and when it's war, there is no business. So keep everything that you want. We just want 4 islands. We want Saint Peter and Miquelon, which is in the north of Canada.
Yes, yeah.
You're from
Been
here?
there.
Okay, you've been there.
We speak quite a bit of time there.
All right.
Anyway.
Because of the saltfish. Back then there is no fridge. They salt fish, they salt meat. So this is how it's going. They also want Guadeloupe, Martinique, and the Pearl of the Caribbean. Do you know which island is the Pearl of the Caribbean?
Saint Martin, maybe?
Could have been Saint Martin, but a bigger island.
Cuba?
Puerto Rico.
You're getting
No, I
close.
don't-
It's
no,
Haiti.
Haiti, okay.
Oh, Haiti.
Yeah. And the English, they'll be like, okay, fine, it's for peace. We have business to do anyway. Keep your 4 small islands to yourself, you know. And the French, they want some islands because it's sugar business. Remember I told you they started planting tobacco? In the history of Guadeloupe, sugar was worth up to 135 times more the value of tobacco. So it's quite important, you know. And yes, the French, they managed to get back some islands which are easy to secure, whereas the English, they get big land, but big land is big responsibility. They do find some English, cool for them, but they are Americans, they are native people that don't want to be colonized, they are beasts, everything they could imagine, you know. So this is how the French, they get some islands back into the sugar business, okay? Let's talk about sugar, we'll go to the next spot, okay?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Nothing nice. Got one down there right now.
Y algo en la pobreza escuché.
Sí, porque
No
allá
es
tiene,
francés, pero
por eso,
no
pero ahí sí hay. Allá sí, porque es un museo de franceses, punto.
So I have a quick joke for you. On the left, this is on my left. This is the new Court of Justice, which was inaugurated in 2017. And on my right, you have this picture here. And this is about the first Indians that arrived here. I will tell you the story. I'll let you admire this.
Thank you. Pretty cool.
Because it's telling the history of the real Indians that arrived here. And after the second abolition of slavery, the old masters, they didn't want to pay the salaries to the former slaves, you know. And the slaves, the former slaves, obviously they didn't want to work for their old master, you know. This is why France said, okay, let's go in India. We're going to get some people of the lowest caste of society, the untouchables, and we're going to bring them here to work in the sugarcane fields. So they say, fine, you will get freedom, you will get salaries, and you will get the French citizenship, you know. So this is how 42,000 Indians arrived here. But it's not going to work as they stated, you know, because more than 30,000 are going to die from mistreatment in the sugarcane fields. Yeah, so that's 3/4. 9,700 will manage to go back to India. They prefer to go to their status of lowest caste of society rather than staying here. Then you have around 2,000 that will stay here. And of these 2,000 people, one of them is called Henry Sidabaron. And Henry is going to trial the colony to get the French citizenship in 1904. But the trial is going to last 19 years. And it's after those 19 years that the Indians are going to get the French citizenship. So this is why they put, you know, the balance of justice, which is not straight, right in front of the Court of Justice. I say bravo to the artists, you know.
Exactly, exactly.
Very bold.
Yes.
The English here. The French, they're mad, they're crazy, they're hungry, you know. They're angry. And this is why they're going to send one guy here, which is named Victor Hughes. Victor Hughes is going to kick the English off the island. But Victor has no money after the French Revolution, and he doesn't have a sufficient army, enough people to do that. They have to think quick, and they think about abolishing slavery. They're going to use the mixed people, so half black, half white, black, white from their father, black from their mother, and this is how they're going to put these people at the head of the army, commanding positions, and the black people at the lower stage of the army. And this strategy is going to work because they will manage to kick the English off the island. So we go through a period of freedom, and the biggest time of this freedom will be between October 1801 and May 1802, because at this time there is no colonial French administrator in exercise on the territory. It means that Guadeloupe is independent, Guadeloupe is free. And I guess Napoleon is crazy about it. And this is why in 1802 he's going to say, okay, slavery time, recreation is done. A lot of stuff happened during this time because there were a lot of fights. The same people who were making the greatness of France were now fighting for their own freedom, you know. It's actually why the place of victory is called the place of victory. It used to be called the royal place, and because of this only victory of the French on the English in a military way, it became the place of victory. So yeah, this is how we got from the first abolition of slavery back to slavery. And you have to imagine yourself that in 1794 there was a guillotine here. Brand new guillotine, hey, French style, huh? Guillotine, cutting people's head here. Like if you were a collaborator of the English, head cut. If you were a royalist, head cut. So yeah, and in 1802, when people were fighting not to go back to slavery, a lot of them died in battles. And those who didn't die and still didn't want to go back to slavery, bring them to the place of victory, shot them. More than 150 people were shot here, and their body were laid in Guadeloupe, behind the museum. And they even go to say that there was a Red Sea for a few days in the city. So it's quite crazy as a story, you know? And just to finish, the place of victory was a place of bourgeoisie, aristocracy. You can imagine yourself that this is the music spot. This is the gardens, and you have ladies and gentlemen walking, you know, the ladies with gloves, umbrellas, stuff like that. And around the place of victory, you can find plenty of balconies. There is nothing more aristocracy than a balcony. Like the ladies, they used to put flower on the balcony, get pretty in the morning, and just show up. Hey, I exist. I have money, you know. And all around the place of victory, this is the kind of status that you find. Like they are building this building. It used to be a theater called the Renaissance Theater. So they are building it and they're keeping the facade. So this is why they start with the facade. You have the Chamber of Commerce, the yellow building here, which was renovated but still with the mango trees, but you also have these big trees. Yeah. These big trees, you have to know that they are 231 years old because they came with the abolition of slavery.
Are they protected?
I don't know if they are protected. I guess so.
Yeah.
Because they're trimming the tree. They don't cut it. Okay. Stating that every enslaved people have to be converted to the Catholic, Apostolic, and Roman religion. You know, so it was a tool used for that. And we're coming to the church. I will let you know, let you see the inside structure. Don't hesitate to zoom in or zoom out. Thank you. Yeah. So it's closed. It's closed. It's open, huh? But today, this afternoon is closed.
Oh wow.
It was built in between 1871 and 1873. The whole building of the church was a very long process. It started in 1807, so it was quite long. You have to think that between the war, the earthquakes, the storms, the fires, and the structure of the roof, which was about to collapse, this is why they decided to create a steel frame inside. We don't have steel industry here, we don't have steel mining here, so everything is coming from France. Everything was shipped and sent for assembly here. So it's 370 tons of metal which left France and came here by boat. Yeah, so that's what it was. Yeah.
Wild, yeah.
All this wealth.
5%.
Yeah.
Like America.
1 to 5%.
So are the colonial families white?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Wow. Thought maybe that
Cool place to have a drink.
Oh yeah?
Until 4, they are open here.
Oh, yeah. That's that place we were looking at.
Yeah, we walked by there earlier.
You walk by there?
looks cool.
And we went into some bakery up here too. It was delicious. I don't know where it was.
Patisserie.
Yeah, the patisserie. Is that what you said?
But do you have like boulangeries here, or bakeries here?
If we had what? Bakeries?
Yeah.
Yeah. In very French things in our communities. And they had a specific colonial status. They were able to migrate up to the Caribbean. And because of trade, because of fabrics, there were a lot of clothing.
Massive amount of clothing.
Yeah.
That's why we noticed a few shops with just fabric and that, which is you don't usually see too often anymore.
Like in the three main cities, Bastel, Pointe-à-Pitre and Le Moule, you will find the same configuration, main street being for Syrian and for Lebanon people. So you know, the spice market was built by the same guys who built the church. So 73 is the church, 74, 75 is the spice market, and the fountain. And the fountain is actually the first time that drinkable water arrived in Pointe-à-Pitre. So the water was pumped in another city, the city of Pianao, and was brought to Pointe-à-Pitre. Therefore, there was a big party here when the water arrived.
So, do the other islands have such a big market? Because this is huge compared to...
Maybe in Grenada, because Grenada is called the Spice Island.
Okay.
So they have to, you know...
So this is important.
Yeah. Velo is very important because he's a drummer. He's a master at playing the drum. His characteristic was that he was playing with more than his hand. He could put his feet on the drum, stuff like that. Yeah. And this drum is called the ka. In every African culture, you find the drum. Because most of the black people here have been deported, we recreated the drum by using the barrel of sugar or barrel of rum and putting some goat skin over it. And this instrument is called the ka. The music coming from it is called the woka. The woka is more than just a music, it's a language. Because on the plantation, it was the sound of communication. When people were marooning, meaning going to the mountains to get their freedom in some way, it was the sound of the drum that was guiding them as well. And Velo, he has a flower and necklace today because of the carnival season. The carnival just ended yesterday, Ash Wednesday. Oh. Yeah. And what's very important about this is that Velo is considered to be a spiritual father, a founder of what we call the St. John rhythm. The St. John rhythm is a rhythm that is used by a lot of carnival groups and cultural movements. And that's why one of these carnival group and cultural movement, Akiyo, installed the statue of Velo here. Just so you know, Akiyo in Creole means who are they? Because we were renamed from European names, you know, from the slavery and stuff like that. And it's a good way of interrogating ourselves about what is our identity, how we are named and stuff like that. And in 2014, the Ka and the Boka were introduced to the legacy of the UNESCO. So since you were asking me about the UNESCO, there it is. And I will show you what happens here every Saturday. Here used to be the main street back in the days.
Oh.
You might see that this is the widest sidewalk, the widest road of the city. And it's also the street with the banks. So all the power used to reside here. And the street is named after a guy who was named Achille Rode Water. And he was the mayor here 3 times. He was a deputy, yeah. He was the president of the department of Guadeloupe. And I will show you the former city hall.
Okay.
Used to be it's a media center. But what's very important for us is that the founder of the Tuk-Tuk and the boutique company, he is the great-grandson of Achille Waniboneuf.
Okay.
And Achille Waniboneuf is the founder of, co-founder of the Social Party here. And therefore he was the worst enemy of Ernest Souk. Because he was defending the workers.
Hi guys, you guys have a beautiful country here.
Thank you.
So what do you want to say to the people if they want to come to visit?
You go ahead.
I don't know what to say. I say that you should come to Guadeloupe and find people that speak your language so that you could benefit of the whole country and the whole package that we have to offer.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello good people in Barkaskem زي كريكم تصنعكو Guadeloupe was amazing كبتت بخوان العليني رابك I hope I'll come back next time. Again the tour toward there. I'm going back to the ship to Aerodam. And if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you on the next one. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.